Hi, and welcome to Solo Solidaires, a production of the Société de Jazz de Saint-Henri with support from the Conseil des Arts de Montréal and in collaboration with Studio Le Bureau. Solo Solidaires has been a new series of short solo sets from some of Montreal's finest jazz musicians. I'm Katie Malloch. It's been my pleasure to be your host throughout this series, and tonight is our last episode. This time we're going to be listening to Carlos Jiménez, a Montreal guitar master who has ringing tone, gorgeous articulation, very open ears, and a healthy appetite for lots of different styles in his jazz playing. Throughout the show, as we have been since the beginning, we've been raising money for Desta Black Youth Network, Desta BYN. It's an organization that works on finding and expanding job opportunities for the Black youth of Montreal's Little Burgundy area. If at any time during the show, if you're watching us on Facebook and you'd like to donate, go to the button below and click on donate to make a donation. And if you'd like to donate through their website or find out more about Desta Black Youth Network, go to destabyn.org. And now let's hear from Carlos Jiménez with a composition of his own, which he calls Yogo Harmonico. Beautiful. That's Carlos Jiménez with his own Yogo Harmonico. Carlos, is a yogo a game?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Yes.
And did that come out of a harmonic exercise that you were using to develop some ideas, or
Yes, it kind of it is. Yes, it's like a harmonic game, but it actually came out of my love of a Brazilian composer whose name is Ginga that I've idolized for the last maybe 10 years. I've been listening to his music intensively, and I stole a few things from a few of his pieces that I've been learning, and there's a bit of also a bit of Ralph Towner in there, a few things, another guitar player that I adore. So I this is kind of like a game of me, like of putting these things together, these ideas, and trying to come up with something that is mine. But there's a lot of stolen things in there.
That's okay. The greatest players steal, right?
Right.
They say, I don't borrow, I steal.
Exactly.
John Schofield once told me that he thought the guitar was the most democratic instrument in music because you find the guitar in every kind of music.
Absolutely.
Country and Western,
Yeah.
jazz, classical, rhythm and blues, funk. I mean, the guitar can go anywhere and it's welcome anywhere.
Yeah.
How did you come to the guitar in the first place?
Oh, wow. As a young little boy growing up, my sister was into she I just remembered that now. She's kind of the one who introduced me to listening to music, because she used to listen to a lot of music, and back then she listened to pop music, and back then we used to watch like TV shows, not TV shows, sorry, like Much Music or Music Plus or something like that. So videos, music videos, and I think I remember seeing a guitar somewhere, or somebody play a guitar. I can't remember exactly who it was, but I remember it really. I thought it looked so cool, and I just wanted to play the guitar. I was like, "Wow, this instrument is amazing!" And then a few years after, I don't remember the circumstances. It might have been again on TV. I saw a Hendrix video. And I'm left-handed, so when I saw Hendrix, I felt a connection there. I don't know. I just felt like, oh, finally, a master who plays the guitar the same on the same side that I'm doing. So I kind of felt like, it was
At home.
it was okay. Exactly, it was
Yeah.
okay for me to play that way. So I pursued it, and
Okay.
I'm still pursuing it.
You've got an old standard for us next, and I
Yes,
think you're going to switch
I
guitars.
will. I will.
This
Yeah.
is Carlos Jiménez with Old Folks. That is such a tender ballad, eh?
Yes.
But with a nice swing in there. Thank you
Oh,
so
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What tells you which guitar to pick up when you're face to face with a piece of music or a tune that you want to do? How do you are they different languages, the classical guitar
Yes.
and the electric?
Absolutely. Absolutely they are. I play a lot of Brazilian music, so I actually almost exclusively use the nylon string because of the I guess the sound of this music is almost dominated by the nylon string guitar. So, and there's a lot of the sound of that music is it has to do with the nylon string guitar, the classical guitar. So whenever I'm in that situation, there's no question. I'll use the nylon string. For ballads, sometimes I like to use the nylon string on recordings. I've done a few recordings where I use that. And I guess it does depend. It depends of the situation, the band that I'm playing with, the project, and also it depends if I'm going to play with my fingers or not. Usually, if I'm playing finger style, I'll go for the nylon string, but it doesn't mean that I won't play finger style on this one. But they have really
Explain what you mean for the
uh,
non-guitar players.
okay,
Oh,
so
instead of the pick.
so I'm using a pick or I'm using my fingers. So uh, there's a thing that's very. I mean, it's very hard to play. Let's say lines and improvise lines with your fingers. It can be done. I'm actually working really hard on it, but I'm more used to do it with the pick. On the other hand, arpeggiating chords and doing things that sounds maybe a bit more like a what a piano player would do is easier to do with the fingers because then they're all separated. So you get a
Okay.
better separation of the voices, I guess.
Do you feel that you really, aside from the technicalities, is there a different language? Do you find
Yes.
yourself playing differently, like two
I
different
don't
players? Yeah.
I don't hold the guitar the same way.
Ah.
My technique is very different. They feel like two completely different instruments, even though it's both it's twice a guitar, but it they really feel very different. And sometimes if I don't play a lot the nylon string, when I go back to it, it's torture. I have to learn how to play it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You've got to be an athlete in two
Oh
different
yeah.
ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear the next piece that you've chosen for us because it's one of my favorites.
Oh great.
Yeah, yeah. A friend of mine told me about the different uh, impertinent titles that jazz players come up with for songs they play a lot, like "What Are You Doing with the Breast of My Wife," or for this one, they sometimes call it "You Stepped Out of a Drain," but this, but
I've heard that.
I like the real title, "You Stepped Out of a Dream." And have you all to myself, alone and apart, out of a dream, safe in my
My
heart. That's
heart.
so.
That's
Do you
right.
believe in learning the words to a song if you're going to be playing it?
I used to do it a lot actually because the first couple of times that I played with a singer, duo for example, or trio even, like accompanying a singer, um, I just noticed how it helped the way I would phrase the melody, or it helped me learn the melody better, of a certain piece. And not that I would play the melody all the time, but at least I could hear it better in my ears and maybe play things that are coming out of the melody instead of treating each tune the same way. Then to me the DNA of a tune is the melody. It's not the chords. I mean, the same chord can be found in millions of tunes, but the melody is unique to a song. So I do. Sometimes I don't remember them, but certain pieces for sure I will remember the lyrics. Yeah.
You've mentioned playing with a singer. What are the settings that you play in most often, and which are the ones you enjoy the most?
Oh, just playing. I enjoy every part of playing anything. This actually is really hard. Playing solo guitar like this, and this is actually good for me because I'm embracing it. The whole with the whole pandemic thing, I'm embracing the fact that I'm trying to work a bit more on solo guitar. But I've played in so many different situations, playing duo with bass player, duo with voice, trio. I had just before the pandemic hit, I had a regular gig on Friday nights with fantastic musicians, and we were playing every Friday, voice, bass, and guitar. I have a quintet, I have a trio, playing with organ. I mean, there's so many different things. I play a bit of more, let's say, more like chamber music. Sometimes I play duets with classical guitar and flute and things like that. So I try to not just stay in one specific thing. I'd love to play some rock and roll also, like that's where I started,
But
I
there's
used to
only so
have
many hours in a
I
day,
know, I
right?
know. I used to have long hair.
And you're studying, and you're teaching, and you're
Yes.
working on a doctorate in music performance.
Yes.
Tell me,
Yes.
we only have like 30 seconds left, but
Okay.
tell me a bit about the doctorate. What are you doing for that?
Well, I've been waiting for about maybe or wanting for about 10 years to go back to school and maybe get better at something and really research my instrument and the music written for the instrument. And finally I felt that the timing was good. So I went back to school to do a doctorate. I'm doing a DMA in jazz performance at McGill University, and basically I'm focusing on music written for solo guitar and how the composers are influenced in their composing by the technicalities of the guitar and how it influences the way they improvise. So one of the main musicians or composers that I've been researching lately is Ralph Towner, he's been one of my heroes for a very long time. And it's funny because a lot of musicians, they say, "Oh, it's funny, I don't hear any Ralph Towner in your playing," but that's because I mainly play this one, and Ralph plays mainly nylon strings, so
Yeah.
it's a thing I'm working a lot on these days. Yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know
my
you have
pleasure.
one last tune for us, and it
Yes,
is Brazilian. And does that
yes.
mean you're going back to the nylon string?
No, no, this one I'm gonna play is a piece by Antonio Carlos Jobim, one of the greatest composers of all time, in my opinion. And this is a piece I recorded on a trio album I did a few years ago. It's called Luisa. Apparently, the story, maybe somebody will correct me, but apparently the backstory is that the piece was written for a failed telenovela, which is like soap operas, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. They got canceled after maybe, I don't know, a week or a month or whatever. But this song became a very, very, very famous, and is I think, is one of the most beautiful melodies he's ever written. So,
Carlos, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
thank you so much, Katie. Nice to talk to you.
Beautiful. Carlos Jiménez with Jobim's Luisa, which wraps up the final edition of Solo Solidaire. My name is Katie Malloch. Thank you so much for having joined me and my Francophone co-host for all of the different shows that we've been privileged to bring you over the last couple of months. Once again, we're here in support of Desta Black Youth Network, which helps to amplify job opportunities for the Black youth of Little Burgundy here in Montreal. So you are able to donate by clicking on the button below if you're watching on Facebook, or go to destabyn.org. Thank you again. Enjoy the music, take care of yourself, and hope to see you down the road.